Oh, I'm telling you.
Is there anybody who was here yesterday for the panel? And you came back?
Yes.
You're crazy.
I think so.
Kidding.
I
Did
know.
you got one of the prints?
No, I did not.
Well, since you were here yesterday and you came back today, you get a free print. From our upcoming book, Gateway Runners. There we go. Enjoy. We'll be giving out a few more throughout the panel.
Hey, Sean, you want the door open or closed?
Open's fine. We want people to come in possibly. Okay, guys.
Just out here, just go ahead and close yourself.
Will do. Thank you.
Enjoy.
I'm Gene. I run Nerdation Publishing. Our first full book, Gateway Runners, will be out in June. This is our 0 issue. Have any of you seen us on Facebook? You have. All the time. Basically, we printed the 0 issue as a promotion for the first issue. We happen to have 5 left. If you're interested, I'm going to mention this once and then probably 2 more times later. We have 5 issues left. These are the last 5 issues of the 0 issue that will ever be available. They're signed by Aaron, and they're signed by Mad Mel, who's the basis for the character on the print. If you're interested in this book during the panel, you can come over and talk to Susie. You get the 0 issue, the print, and their certificate of authenticity, and we're going to mail you a number 1 when it comes out in June, and that's $20. If you want it, come up talk to Susie, but that's not what the panel's about. It's about comics. So we're going to go through and introduce ourselves one by one, starting with me. I already did it. Aaron, who are you, and why are you here?
I don't know. No, I don't know. No, my name's Aaron Pierce. I'm the illustrator for the Gateway Runners comic, like Gene said. Also working lettering on Gateway Runners, and another book called Light Earth. I've been creative consultant on several different books at this point. Been in the industry about 4 or 5 years down here in Florida, so that's me. Mission Nevada.
Who are you?
My name is Juan Navarro. I am the editor-in-chief and publisher of Creature Entertainment. I'm also the head writer, and I'm the writer for Rez, which is a story about a detective who uses his past lives to solve crimes. This is issue 1. We did a Kickstarter for it that was really successful. I'm also the writer and artist for Zombie Years, post-apocalyptic zombie tale that takes place in Miami. It's like Walking Dead with better weather. I'm the writer and artist on that, and I'm the writer and artist also on Tommy. It's a story about a little kid with an imaginary friend who finds out his imaginary friend is a serial killer. Yeah, we're out in Miami. We're also do films. We do various projects, and
my name's Bella. I'm the graphic designer and layout for Visual Adjectives, our publishing and production company. We've been all working together for about 4 or 5 years, and so we do graphic novels, illustrated novels. We run a magazine, children's books. We do the whole shebang. And
I'm Edward Stinson. I am her son, and I am also working with Visual Adjectives. I wrote a book called The Evil Fancy Role Playing Chess. I'm sorry, I forgot downstairs. But anyways, so I am actually one of the artists and salespeople because I like to talk and voices happen. So, but yeah.
My name is Michelle Lawrence. I am the publisher, editor-in-chief of Cars Nocturne, and Visual Adjectives is our publishing and production company. Like Bella said, we publish books, graphic novels, magazine, children's books, basically any books. We're working on comics with our clients that, the comics that we do is almost like ghostwriting, so we really don't say this is the comic we do because people pass through the comic. We don't really say that we've done it. That's just what we sign with our clients, and that's what we do.
Okay, now we're going to do this a little different than we did yesterday. The Visual Adjectives folks are going to do their presentations first. It'll take about 20 minutes. Then we're going to do 20 minutes with the 3 of us being goofy. And then we're going to do 20 minutes of question and answer with everybody at the table. So, without further ado,
Well, to start off, raise your hand if you've ever had an idea and wanted it to be in some way, shape, or form a piece of literature that other people could experience. Beautiful. One of the main things we love to tell everyone is a book or an idea is not a book. Your story is not a book. It is simply an idea that is intangible. You can't touch an idea. It's specifically in your head. When you are creating any form of literature to represent your idea, your story, it is simply a vehicle that allows you to get your idea through this intangible field into the mind of another person.
Hence the name Visual Adjectives.
Yes. So that is one of the main things that we would, love to tell you guys about today. We want to talk about not only just having your idea, but getting it into something, a physical manifestation of your idea, whether it be a comic, web comic, graphic novel, illustrated novel, and or just a full novel with bajillions of words in it. Who has one of these from last time? Beautiful. Nobody. It's gonna be beautiful. It's gonna be beautiful.
Those of you who got it yesterday and didn't bring it back, you get another one.
Oh, yes, please, thank you.
Oh, look at that.
Very lovely assistant.
Oh, you have that, and he comes here at the time. So first thing we want to go over after you get these paper, when you are creating your idea, whether it be a comic or a book or a graphic novel, whatever it is, when a reader walks into a store, there are 3 things that they're ever going to care about, whether consciously or subconsciously, as they're looking at your story. In your little packet thingamabobby, you can look on the right side and see the formula along with me. The first 3 things are affordability, storyline, and immersion. Lost my paper. I see how it is. Here's my paper. So, when it comes to affordability, literally, guys, what does it cost? And don't just consider the cost of your book, consider the cost of them having to get to the store, walk into the store, pull out the money, see your book specifically, want to get that book, say, hey, I'm picking this book up and walking back over to pay for it. It is not just, hey, this is how much it costs. No, there's a lot of other variables when you're thinking about how to purchase a book. Then it comes to storyline. Does your story actually matter to them? Is it a cool storyline to follow? He literally described his book as there's a person, but it's an imaginary friend. The imaginary friend's a serial killer. Right then, I'm already like, I need to see this book. Like, what is this about? Because this is already a super cool storyline. Then it comes to immersion. When immersion is taken into consideration, that changes vastly depending on what medium you choose to use. Is it a comic? Is it a graphic novel? Is it an illustrated novel? Immersion is how deeply can someone throw themselves into your world. If it's a comic, when it comes to immersion, it's a staggered immersion. Immersion is the main factor that will get someone to become a fan. A fan is someone who always wants to follow what you are doing, no matter what it is. Perfect example, when a Batman movie comes out, Batman has been around longer than the majority of us have actually been alive. So a lot of us have been fans before the movie came out. We're already immersed into Batman. When a movie comes out, we're like, look, whether it's good or bad, I'm most likely going to the theaters to see it. Avengers, it could be the worst movie ever. No, well, but it could be a terrible movie. Well, I'm going to see it anyway. I don't really care. All they had to show was a Hulkbuster. I'm solid, like I'm sold, done, going to the movies. It's Avengers Day now. So immersion that's something that is really going to change someone from a reader to a fan of your story. It starts with affordability. Someone looks at your story, oh, this looks neat. Luckily, it's only $12.50. Well, let me see, I have $20 on me, I can probably get this. Then they pick it up. That's when you see them open your book or flip it over and they read what's on front, what's on back. That is the storyline. It's a guy with an imaginary friend who kills people. That's freaking gorgeous. I gotta read it. Then it comes to immersion. They open your book, they look at the first few pages. Is this something I want to get into? So, after you check all these things, these are your readers' criteria when they see your story. After that, when it comes to the creation process of your own work, you have costs and gains. All right, now we're going to go to the costs first. When it comes to costs, there are 3 main things you got to worry about: money, energy, time. If you overlook any of these, it will severely be a detriment to your entire process of creating a story. Money. When it comes to money, please, once again, do not just take into consideration the cost of selling your book. If it's $12, don't just say, oh, well, cool, it's just $12 to do it. No, stop. There are so many other variables to take into consideration. Whether it be driving from point A to point B. If that's $10 of gas, that's $10 that you need to now sell to someone in some way to get back to make up for the fact that you just did that. It can be said the same way with conventions. A lot of independent comics are going to say, hey guys, I'm going to buy a booth at a convention, which could be any amount of money, a few $100, a couple hundred, whatever, and then it's getting to the booth, paying for that, paying for a lot of different things to make that independent comic sit at this booth and hope that people, randomly, who don't know anything about your comic, care about the affordability, storyline, and immersion of your comic.
I was gonna say, also, you wanna consider, as an indie comic producer, I do a lot of research, okay? I research everything. I always have a plan A, B, C, D, all right? Backup plans. That's important because we do a lot of statistics. DC, Marvel, IDW, a lot of indie comics, when you look at the sales statistics, a lot of these comics, it's very rare that you're gonna see Bob's Comic Company in the top 5, the top 10, the top 100 comics being sold, making money. You figure comic costs, nowadays a comic is like $4.99. When I bought comics, they were 99 cents, okay? So you're looking at a customer spending $4.99 on a comic, all right? There's some comics, no matter how much they cost, I'm going to buy them because I collect comics. So no matter what, I'm gonna buy the comic, and I always buy two of the comics. So now my price is double as a customer. However, as a producer of this comic, you have to consider the fact that, are you able to afford an artist? Are you able to afford yourself the distribution for your comic? And so you're looking at getting your comics into the store. So when it comes to money, it's on both sides. You have to really look at both sides. How many collectors are there really buying your comic? Is your comic worth collecting? Is the art that great that they're gonna collect the comics? Because people don't collect the comics just for the story, okay? Unless you're Marvel, DC, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Thor, Captain America, and you're a big fan of those comics, you're not gonna buy 2 copies like I am, okay? So you have to look at the fact that a person might buy just one copy of your comic. You also have to stop them to buy the comic. You're not gonna be in the store with your comic to stop them to buy the comic. So something has to stop them on the shelf to buy your comic. That's the artwork, okay?
Absolutely.
It's not gonna be the name of the comic or the story that's inside the comic, which is what they're gonna really look at when they open it. But in order for them to walk by and see it and go, wow, look at that.
Yeah.
You know,
As opposed
that's
to
like,
other few thousand comments
yeah,
on
that's
the
like
show.
90% of
Why
your
are you gonna stop
customers.
at yours?
And are you gonna be out there peddling yourself? You know,
Yeah, if you're at conventions, yes, you can peddle yourself, but as you're saying, the second that it is at any other shop that you are not, once again, your comic is amongst a few other 100 or 1,000 or however many are at the comic book store. Either way, if a person comes in with $20, what will make them walk, look at yours, stop, pick up specifically yours, care about the affordability, storyline, and immersion of your comic against all the others? You know, that is really the more difficult area when it comes to indie comics.
So the question really becomes, how do you get people to be immersed in your indie comic and get your comic to be set apart from other comics? And one of the best pieces of advice that we can give to people is to turn your readers into fans before you even have a product.
Yep.
Back to this Batman example, there are people who've never picked up a Batman comic in their life. As shocking as that is to say, there are people who've never picked up a Batman comic in their life, but Batman as a brand is so out there and it's so big that they can still be a fan regardless of whether or not they pick up that comic. And that's something pretty amazing that, you know, DC is lucky enough to have, you know, they have 70 odd years been able to build that. But when in terms of being an indie comic creator, there are different ways you can get people to become fans of your product as you're developing your comic. And the internet, social media, all of that are really great tools. One of the things we were talking about yesterday was you have your options with distributing your comic. One of the greatest ways to do it is to start off as a web comic, because you can build your fans as you're going along with the story. Now that's not the end-all be-all strategy for everyone, but it's one of those things to consider. Turn your readers into fans, and then your comic will have a better way of being noticed.
Absolutely. We always want to consider the different ways to, once again, going back to affordability. There are every single different medium of getting your story out there, whether it be comic, webcomic, graphic novel, illustrated novel, they all have different affordabilities associated with them. Webcomic it's online. You type in a website and it's there. Usually, the majority of the time, the webcomic is free. Versus a comic, you have to pay for it. So when it comes to webcomic, that's one of the greatest ways to truly get fans before you even come out with a comic. If you are, interested in making a comic.